Stuffcast, plugging you into the future, where verse meets meta, where meta meets verse, where gamers meet devs, where devs meet games. Your direct access to the future right here, right now. Where verse meets meta, where meta meets verse, where gamers meet devs, where devs meet games. Your direct access to the future right here, right now.
Hello, and the jingle has start.
Yeah.
Hi, Sam.
Hey there.
You know what?
Wendy. Long time no see.
Every time I see your gamer tag, your gamer san, I have to say it in a Japanese accent. It just reminds, because I think isn't san like a Japanese sort of
Yes.
greeting
like
or like a mister? Yeah, so it's gamer san. Hello,
Gamer-san.
gamer san. Apologies to anyone with
Mr.
Oriental.
Gamer.
Mr. Gamer. Yeah, gamer san. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, if I ever did go to Japan, I'd actually have to say San-san.
Have you been to Japan?
I know. It's one of the places I'm desperate to go to, but I've not been.
I would say go back. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Star Chart had, at one point, about, I think it was 10% of the population of Japan had downloaded and installed it on their devices. And it was the number one app on the App Store for 2 weeks in a row
Awesome.
in Japan.
Awesome.
And I was like, yeah, there's got to be a reason to go to Japan. And I never made it.
Famous. Yeah, it's where Chris proposed in Japan, up a mountain.
To you or?
To me. Yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. We were there for 3 weeks. It was incredible. Happily go back any day. Really, really taken with the place actually. But I found the ring in his bag when we first got there. I was looking for something else, so I found this little ring box. And I thought, oh crap, not oh crap, but not what I mean, good. And then waited like every single we went to the sunset walk. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be now, it's gonna be now. It wasn't then. Went another walk, wasn't then. Went to a romantic dinner, wasn't then. I'm like, come on, seriously, when's it gonna be?
I'm getting reports, sorry, that we're not live in live stream rooms. Need to check.
Have they gone out and into the event? Or are they just looking at... well, it should be there as well. Okay, I will have a very quick look. Sam, talk about something while
I'll talk about how my
check
wife proposed to me.
Did she?
No.
Oh.
I'll make up a story. There's one that sounds good. Actually, I was telling somebody else last night at the dinner table, and we were talking to one of our guests about the fact that when we first met, we were still at high school, and I fell in love with her obviously straight away, and she was trying to fend me off and stay uninterested for as long as possible. And then one summer, I was working at a festival. What's it called? No, a carnival. What's the word? A theme park. That's it. A theme park in Copenhagen. And at the end of the day, instead of going home, I used to work there from 12 in the morning to 12 at night. And instead of going home, I took the train up to the north of Jutland, not Zealand, where she lived, and didn't know where she lived, but arrived and needed somewhere to sleep because now it was midnight and I didn't know what to do. It was the middle of summer. So I climbed up into somebody's balcony to go to sleep, to fall asleep on the balcony on a terrace near the water, looking out over the beautiful northern Danish coast. And a mad woman opened the door, issued from inside the summer house who was there, and scared me off. I jumped off the terrace, ran away, found another garden, found a shed, and in the shed there was a mattress, so broke into the shed, fell asleep on the mattress, got up the next day and walked down to the harbour. While standing at the harbour, I was looking out at the sea, and suddenly my wife, Philippa, called out to me, Sam? Sam? You here? What are you doing here? I was like, oh God, she's found me. Turned out I was standing in front of the house that I climbed up the balcony of, and without knowing it, that had been her house. So her mother, first time she probably met me, was jumping out trying to scare off this guy that had climbed up onto the balcony and was obviously trying to break in or something. Anyway, are we live?
Well, I have checked both the live stream room and the event in the live stream room, and both seem to have the link correctly in there. So I can't see why that wouldn't be working. I've done not anything different from normal. Let me just.
They're saying they're still not seeing it, so I'm telling them they should join the event in the DM.
Yes, that is probably the best way to go.
Oh, I know what it is. They're in VR no, they're not in VR. They're on PC, and the live streaming on PC might not work.
Aha.
That could be it.
Okay, well, either way, let's get on with the show. We'll talk about that and some more of the VR issues later when we get on to VR stuff, because we've got a little smorgasbord of stuff to talk about today, including the, as always, absolutely packed schedule and packed things that have been happening at Multiverse Towers. FDL Towers or Shea Multiverse, however you want to call it. So let's see, what should we start off with? Let's start off with a few little bits and bobses, just to some hints and tips for using the app. The first of which, I know Dora has been doing some posts, and you'll see on socials recently about storefronts. So, as many of you know, we've had a few woes in the past with storefronts and previously with apartments, where when you would, in certain buildings, there would be clipping from neighbouring buildings or from pavements or from other structures, lampposts and what have you, making it very annoying to use a room, or in some cases impossible to really use a room. Certainly not something you would want to show off if you're having a brand. We fixed the clipping of buildings back a while back, so that has made a huge difference. But unfortunately, we haven't yet found a solution for the clipping of the pavements. So within Infiniverse, the buildings are each their own entity. They're each basically a box. So we can easily turn off one box, turn off another box, and keep the other boxes on. The pavement and the road is one huge contiguous piece. So we can't turn off some of it without turning off all of it, which is why we haven't been able to find a decent fix for this yet. So in some cases, when you have a storefront, you'll find that there's pavement clipping in through it, which I know is very frustrating for you and very annoying. Now, there are...
Specifically on certain shapes, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is some advice just to let you know there are ways to try and mitigate this. Now, for some storefronts that already exist in the world, you can go inside them and you can see if this is happening and avoid that particular plot. But if you're stamping new storefronts on a plot, then you can't go inside until it's actually been built and therefore permanent, so you can't reverse any changes. So I wanted to give you some things to look out for when doing this. We've got a little handle infogram that we have here, so I'm just going to pull that up. Warning, storefronts! Now, this poster is also over in the map room, so when you're in the map room, if you haven't customised the pictures on the walls yourself, this is one of the pictures up there. So do read those images on the walls, because they do give little advice and things about using the controls and some things to look out for in the map room. So when you're stamping a storefront, the best advice we can give is to look at the shape of the building. So walk onto that mini map, that little mini world that you're in, and look top down, like you're a big giant, and look down at the shape of the building beneath you, and you will see the shape. It's usually square shaped, but sometimes it can be triangular if it's on a corner of a plot, or it can be very narrow if you've picked a dense template and there's lots of buildings crammed in together. So these are the ones that you really want to avoid when pushing down storefronts. So anything with a triangular shape or a very flat rectangular, so the less square, so the more rectangular it is in either direction, then that is more likely to cause a clipping issue. Also, hilly terrain can sometimes cause issues as well if it's on a very, very steep incline. That's also places to look out for. So these are just some tips to make sure that you get the best out of your storefronts. Now, if you do stamp somewhere that is, accidentally done and it's got a bad clipping issue, do contact us and we'll see if we can assist in any way. We are working on some fixes for things. We do have a couple of ideas in the pipeline of ways to mitigate this, but we haven't got any delivery deadlines for those yet. Obviously, more information will come when it's ready. But until then, do look at those hints and tips, do look at those red flags, shape of the building to stop those clipping issues of pavements. There we go, it's just a little helpful, handy tip.
And basically, yeah, check them before you stamp them is the key piece of advice, because it's a pain once you stamp them.
Yeah, obviously with storefronts, and we know you can't go inside them before you stamp them down, so we know that's limited.
Yeah.
But you can look at them. You can look at the shape of that plot. Look at it on the wrist menu. If it's a bit hard to see, the wrist menu gives you that 2D projection of the shape of the plot, and you can see really easily which ones are triangular, which ones are square, and which ones work and which ones don't work. So that is the best thing to do, because it just makes it easier for you to get the best out of your plots. So yeah, that was just a bit of handy advice there. Other stuff we've got coming up this month. Got quite a few things coming up in February. Straight after today's broadcast, or even during it, depending on how long it goes on for, we've got an egg that's cracking. So head over to the Cookie Monster District and check out that wind egg that's about to crack as soon as I push the button. You may even hear my Alexa reminder going off to remind me to push the button, because I have occasionally nearly forgotten. And right, okay, yes, gotta push the button to launch it. So yeah, that's going to be the next egg to crack. And we've got the after that, the feather egg's going to be hatching. The feather egg has, like a phoenix, risen from its half-sunken position that's been in for the past couple of months, and will very soon be hatching into the next gorgeous little baby dragon.
Currently, Wendy, it's working in VR but not in non-VR PC. So if PC users jump out, or if somebody is on PC and they don't know what's going on, tell them to jump out and get into VR. For VR users, the only issue is that Wendy is too silent because her microphone isn't close enough. So instead of holding the cup of coffee or tea, maybe you should have a mug-shaped
dropped
microphone.
everything off my desk. That was some sort of ordered. I don't know what it was actually. There we go. I'll sit right here. But I want my cup of tea. It's nice and my nice little mug.
Does that work?
Hello.
There
we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I do move it, but it just needs to be moved closer, and somehow.
Moving it away doesn't help. Closer
I've
does.
just given up with this bloody microphone. I mean, what I'm saying isn't necessarily important anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? I don't know. Have a poll. Who has the more relevant advice or information? Me or San? Vote now, please. Yeah, agenda. This month, February, I believe, is also Black History Month. And in celebration of this wonderful month, we have lined up a series of documentaries over in the planetarium. So look out that discovery menu. Once a week for 4 weeks. I think the first one went this weekend, and there's 3 more on the following weekends. Are some little short documentaries about 20 minutes long about black astronauts and the history of black astronauts at NASA and what their contribution has been to the space program. So some very interesting stuff, nice little informational, educational and culturally relevant things. So check those out. They are going to be in the NASA Live room, which is accessible via the cinema foyer, or as always via the events menu. So do keep track of the little things that are going on, because I know we have some big stuff, big changes, big features and releases, but it's all these little things going in the background as well, that make the app a more kind of well-rounded and fun place to be. So if you ever just find yourself a bit bored, no one's not turned up yet, check out the menu, check out what's going on, see what's featured, and go take a look, because there's always going to be something. Always try and keep a little something going on. What's that?
I'm pretending to be a PC user.
He's having a fit.
So yeah, the other thing I was going to mention in conjunction with the PC hands is that obviously you'll be seeing more people in the app jumping in around, and some of them will be in PC mode. You'll be able to tell PC users from their lack of experience with the app, and also their hands stuck in this position, and their ability to only sort of karate chop jab outwards, which is something we'll be working on. But yeah, be aware. I mean, obviously you guys have got loads of cool events out there, which is great, and great reason to welcome people in. And obviously you guys have been setting up your events and locations with AI bots, woo! Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, so well, let's segue into that. Segue into little poster. We're on PC. If you hadn't realised that
Yay!
yet, then we're on PC. So yeah, there you go. Little posters to remind you there on screen. As of about 2 weeks now, 10 days, we are on PC, and it's gone quite well, I think.
Yeah, remarkably considering, I mean, it was a big deal and a lot of work, and Ollie managed to whip it out while drunk on a sofa. And actually, he was quite ill for a lot of January. So well done, Ollie. But the key thing to remember about the PC is, yeah, we are still in the process. It is sort of a soft launch in the sense that we've got it out there, it's working. It is only available on the MetaQuest app, or the MetaLink app, I think it's called, on PC.
MetaQuest Link app.
Yeah, the MetaQuest Link app on PC, and you've got to press the three buttons and then launch on desktop rather than, or launch, desktop
Yeah, so
mode
there is a
rather
wrong
than
way to
VR.
do it, and if you go the wrong way, you will end up in a little weird little cycle loop. So check out, I believe we've got a tutorial, as we always do, on our own website, and Fade has done, as always, an exemplary tutorial over on her Hitchhiker's Guide to the Infiniverse playlist over on YouTube. So do check that out, as it shows you exactly what to do and what not to do. And once you've done it, it's very, very easy. It's just the app itself, the MetaQuest Link app, just has a gazillion little different buttons and tries to take you off down the wrong path by making you link your headset or doing things which you think, oh, I've got to do that, but you don't. So once you've done it,
Yes.
oh god, yeah, that's really, really easy. It's just that first time knowing.
Yeah, the installation and the accounts are nonsense, and Meta are making people jump through hoops.
It
for
took
no
me about
reason,
4
yet
days,
again.
I kid you not, to get in.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. There are obviously some things that aren't working. For example, the Devcast is not working on PC. We'll have to look into that. We are aware of some of the things that aren't working, and we are trying to fix them. So at the moment, I think Ollie has fixed or is fixing the broken menu in apartments where you want to change the apartment skin. So he's aware of that. There's a whole load of things you guys have been posting on Discord, so please keep that stuff coming. We are looking at that. I don't know exactly how much we're going to get through this week before we launch the update and the bug fixes, but they might be coming, daily. They might be coming in one whole lump at the end of the week on Monday or something. But we'll be going through this week and definitely polishing and making it slicker. I think Ollie yesterday or this morning told us that he'd got the gamepad up and running, so you can control the PC version soon with a Bluetooth gamepad, which is going to be absolutely awesome for those of you who don't have magic fingers. The whole concept of the PC version very much is about us making sure, again, soft launching it, making sure it works before we bring it to other platforms. And obviously, I'm going to go into a whole load of spiel about the sort of stuff that's going to be coming, but I don't want to make any promises. So I think, Wendy, it's about time that you give the caveat billboard.
It's going up, it's flashing away. Just an idea, not a promise.
We're going to talk about ideas now. We're going to talk about the things that we'd like to do, the things that we're evaluating, the things that we're looking at from the point of view of how to make everything better. That ranges from, where we want to put the PC version up on Steam, up on Epic Store, Windows Store, Mac, mobile, other things like that, or when I should get a haircut, because it's sort of starting to rack on. But the sort of things that we're going to be discussing from now on out, please take them all with a bucket of salt and throw that bucket over whichever shoulder it is. It's got the devil on it. I think it's the left, isn't it? And yeah, make sure that you don't take any of this too seriously. This is where we're thinking about going, what we would like to do, the sort of conversations that are going on inside the team as to where we could take this if we have the opportunity. So with that in mind, and with that caveat having been displayed, I think we'll now switch into a different mode on the podcast, and we'll talk a little bit about what we could do if everything goes well.
Yeah, distributor note on that one, just to kind of further drill that in. When you're doing dev stuff, of course you have loads of ideas. You have brilliant ideas, some shit ideas, some crazy ideas. And these are things you'd love to be able to do. But until you actually start doing them, it's almost impossible actually to know if they are going to work or if they're going to fit in with the existing thing, or if it's going to create so many bugs. It's just not possible. So this is why you know, I know users can get very frustrated when you hear devs talking about stuff and things never happen or things change and it doesn't come out like they said we would. It is just simply because we can't know until we do it. So either we shut up and say jack all about things, in which case we're accused of being silent and not sharing stuff. And we'd much rather just share the ideas and have that creative process with you guys. So you know where our minds are at, you know, the kind of ambition that we have for this app, you know, and that you really feel, understand and share that with us, because, you know, we love having you along with us on that journey and enjoying the creative ups and downs. But it is huge ups and downs. And yeah, we'll certainly try and do everything that we can. But sometimes it just turns out that because of our own failings, because of Meta's failings, because of the world, because of whatever, stuff just can't happen. And it's a bummer when that happens. But you got to keep going and go, okay, well, you know, what can we do instead to move on?
And sometimes we end up in a scenario where something like the AI agents becomes a really crazy, cool idea and doable. And then other times we end up with things that we're like, well, this is something we'd love to do. And it's still on the list of things that we'd love to do 3 or 4 years later. But due to, like you say, Meta's terms and conditions or the guidelines they have, or other restrictions that are put upon us, or even, you know, we're waiting for some update from some third party app or tech team, or even Unity. And Unity said, we're going to deliver this. And we think, wow, they're going to deliver that. That means that we can do X, Y, Z. Turns out they never deliver that, therefore we can't do X, Y, Z. So those sorts of things are, you know, a big part of it. But anyway, caveat's gone. Now into pie in the sky mode, we're going to talk about some of the cool stuff that's coming. Before I do, there's one last thing I want to mention about the whole PC build. So as I mentioned, we're going to have updates coming fast and furious over the next couple of days, hopefully next week, so forth. We are looking at fixing some of the things that are missing and broken. We know what those are, and there's more you find. One of the other things that is broken is the purchase of MC, Metacoin. In PC, it's impossible to buy Metacoin at the moment if you're not in VR. So on PC, in VR, you can buy Metacoin. In virtual reality on MetaQuest, you can buy Metacoin. But on non-VR PC, Meta have disabled the ability for us to sell Metacoin. I don't know why they don't want to get 30% of the revenues from the non-VR PC version, but they don't. So we don't have that system enabled. We're going to be working on other solutions. At the moment, the only way for a non-VR user to get Metacoin is to go through the process of burning paperclips on the paperclipai.org website. You'll find out a whole load about this on the email that has just been sent out by Dora as a Multiverse newsletter email that's gone out. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you are subscribed, make sure you look for it in your trash bin or wherever else it is it might have ended up.
Yeah, if you're not sure how to subscribe, you can go to the updates room. There's a link there directly to go and subscribe. In the updates room, you can email us, ping us on Discord, and we will add you to that mailing list.
Yes. So basically the updates room is, it's got a door, I think, isn't it? A door that directly goes to that. You'll see it right there. Anyway, so make sure that you look at that. There are some things about that I'm going to draw into. So obviously, the idea of having to go to another web page to be able to burn paperclips to get Metacoin that then you can access through our website and then to the game is a little bit complex. We will not be able to put the ability to burn paperclips inside the app, but we might be able to put the ability to burn paperclips or do some other forms of transaction on the website. That is one of the things we're looking into, so that you will be able to get access to your Metacoin either through multiverseonline.io in some form, way possible. Who knows, maybe crypto enabled, I don't know. Not going to go exactly there until we find out exactly what is enabled and what Ollie will let us do and what the technicalities and other things permit. But the idea of being able to convert both fiat currency and or cryptocurrency, and specifically the paperclips, into Metacoin is something that we are looking at very strongly. So you can expect to see that. You can't expect it, you can hope to see that at some point soon if everything goes well.
Yeah. Also worth saying, some of you out there, this whole kind of paperclip concept might be a bit like, what? Paperclip is a third party that we've been working closely with, and they're developing a lot of this stuff. Do check them out, see what they're up to. It's all kosher. It's all above board. We're happy to be working with them, and they've done some great stuff. Yeah. So if you're interested, take a look, go down that rabbit hole and see what they're into. If not, then you can just use the facility that we've put in place to work, the paperclip whole idea of spawning as agents. But that's kind of where this whole paperclip thing came from. So if it's all a bit weird and confusing, there is a very good reason for it.
So, and just to clarify, like we say, there are advantages to Future Tech Labs if you buy and burn paperclips. So it does have an advantage to us. We need to be transparent about that. We're not hiding that, but it is not us as an entity. It's not our business. We will benefit from it. And we hope that lots of paperclips get purchased and burnt, because that will increase the amount of spend that gets put into us from a point of view of new tech and other things going forwards. So that's there. On another point of view, we're not investment advisors. We're not telling you to invest or to buy. Meme coins are extraordinarily fluctuatingly fun. And people most of the time buy those for the fun of the ride and the terror of the fall, the joy of the climb, the terror of the fall, and the fun of the ride. I think that's what it is. But yeah, be aware that this isn't investment advice. I can't tell you what's going to happen to them. In theory, though, if people are buying paper clips and then burning those, that does decrease the supply, making the paper clips more valuable. That's what we've been told. But theory doesn't necessarily hold when it comes to meme coins, because they have their own logic that sits outside of this world's realm of real logic. So that's all the caveats and other things I'm going to give you with regards to that, but definitely go check them out. It will give you Metacoin. It is a way to get Metacoin on the RPC. Okay. And at the moment it is advantageous. So they are taking a hit on that, and the Metacoin that you get from burning paperclips is more than the monetary value of the paperclips purchased. So you get more Metacoin than you would if you spent the same amount of money on MetaQuest. Now, obviously, don't everybody go and do that, but if you are in that area and it is something you want to do, feel free to take advantage of that opportunity. Okay, some other things to talk about. Let me see. Yeah, the big thing, the thing that I want to go into is where we're going to be going next. So now that we've launched PC, now that we've got all of this stuff out there, hopefully at the end of this week, we'll have some more polish and other fixes in there. We'll be in a position where we can put that down for a little bit. The question is, how are we going to take the AI agents that we have enabled, that even the paperclip guys have enabled? There are unique AI agents for the paperclip metaverses. So those that use and burn paperclips do get a metaverse that has access to unique AI agents. Be aware of that. But yes, now that we've got those up and running, now that we've seen how cool they are, how fun it is, how exciting it is to have these agents appear, there's a whole load of work that Wendy, me, Ollie, and the team would be looking at. So how do we take that further? What are the next steps? What do we want to do with them? How do they want to be used? How have you guys been using them? And where do we want to extend it? So, Wendy, I know you've been looking at the models and the shapes for them. So that's something I'd like to discuss. And I'll talk to you a little bit about crafting AI agents afterwards.
Just thinking about how we can make these further unique and more interesting little things. Avatars has long been a point of discussion in Multiverse, and with the loot boxes last year, we brought in the first step towards Avatar changing, if not actual customization, to get that idea of different faces and bodies and things. So thinking, if we want to expand these AI bots, agents even further, what do they look like? What do they be like? What kind of form should they take? So looking at all sorts of ideas. Should they be little animals? Should they be robots? Should they be people? Should they be just the same bots as they currently are, albeit some with accessories on them? So I've been today just a bit brainstorming, playing around with some ideas.
Working out the lighting issues.
I say working out, pushing
Giving
to
up.
one side, under the carpet, ignoring the lighting issues, with things. Finding ways to make them look good at all times of day. Playing with ideas of, do they need hands? Do they even need a head and a body? How can we modify these further? So it's very much a creative process of things, and don't know where it's going to go yet. We've got 2 or 3 avenues that we're going to explore. I
found yesterday, apart from the the Dragon Fruit Fest bonanza that I stumbled upon with Wendy scoffing dragon fruit like there was no tomorrow.
Look at my XP, it's really not that high.
The other thing that I found was I went into one of the rooms with Wendy and she had three AI agents spawned that were in three different metallic chrome robot forms, and they were talking to each other about which color they were. So one of them thought that he was gold, the other, and he was bronze. Another one thought that she was gold, but she was silver, and then the gold one was telling them all off because obviously he was gold.
Yeah, well, one was gold, silver, and bronze, and the prompt I gave them was one of you is gold, one of you is silver, one of you is bronze. Decide which is which.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about it.
But it was fun because I realized after watching them for a couple of scripts that was exactly how Wendy, Chris, and Daniel all spend their days. One of them puts on a hat, they all go around blindfolded and they try to decide which one of them wearing a hat or something. I don't know. Anyway, it was cute, and yes, gave us some insight into how these AI bots could be looking and work. If we start changing the physical shape of them and moving around to different options.
I mean, I don't think we have any risk of falling into uncanny valley just yet. No. I feel that's a little far away. They're still very much avatars, and evidently so. But yeah, it is that whole thing. Do we try and make them humanoid? Do we keep them as little, robots? What do people want of these things? So you might see, if you catch us around, you might see some little experimental ones that we're playing with, do always pester us to put out a paperclip and see what we can show. We're both show offs. We like showing you guys stuff.
We do. Yes. So on that note, there's a couple of other things like the idea of how to customize our AI agents is something we're discussing. We're looking into two different options, and we think one is probably going to be more enterprise and the other one more consumer based. And the ideas are obviously one is scripting your own agent, you have to type in a personality, create one, set it up, let it go. Pretty much like we've done with regards to the agents and the AI agents that we've created to date. It does involve a little bit more skill. It involves a little bit more knowledge of how to make them work, and therefore is something that's a little bit on the technical side. And for that, we're thinking potentially that sits with the enterprise clients. On the business pro, premium, free trial, whatever it is, metaverses, pay-per-click metaverses, and subscribers of that nature, we're looking at a different type of model where we are thinking a little bit more gamified, potentially something where you get to craft. Think somewhere between Minecraft and Diablo, or I don't know, World of Warcraft and Minecraft, or something like that, where you can get an AI agent and you can enhance them and make them better through the addition of elements.
Potato Head.
Of course,
but with personalities.
Yeah, there we go. Well, since you're in control of the avatar look, be my guest. But yes, the idea of having personalities that are generated through the crafting process, which would both add a whole load of excitement and entertainment around finding the elements to craft, putting those elements together and working out what elements create what, and then having an agent that has been created and crafted at the other end that is either valuable because it's really rare, unique, cool, or not, is something that I think could bring around a lot of excitement, interest, and not allow them all to get a little bit samey. Because one of the problems with it allowed you to copy and paste text that was written in, and would suddenly find 100 AI agents all the same because they had told everybody how to make a snarky robot, and you'd all copy and pasted that in, and therefore that was there. So finding a way that gives value, uniqueness, identity, personality to these agents, and therefore also value to those agents, so that when we allow you to trade them, which is another thing we're very much looking into, those that can or have created and crafted valuable, cool, exciting, interesting AI agents have the ability to trade those.
Yeah, you can sort of envisage some kind of it's a combination of what the things we've been introducing so far. So take this loot box concept of hunting around and finding things. So in a loot box, you may find agent components, not necessarily bodily components, but agent personality components. So you may find a personality trait, you may find an interest, you may find a mood, a sense of humour or something in there. And you would collect these, gather these. They may be tradable, they may be storable, but then once you've gathered enough, you then pick, okay, so I want the pirate personality with with an angry mood who's interested in skateboarding, and you craft these together, and each of them will have had, you know, programmed from our side, a sort of a pre-programmed script, a pre-programmed AI prompt behind it. But when you combine them together, that then creates your unique agent, and who works on the basis of those elements you've chosen. And you can add another one in. Then when you find one, you find one you typically like, or you're hunting down that particularly rare one, to add into your special crafted one, and then that will give you your own crafted agent, which you can place in your own metaverses. You can place however. Yeah, we're still working out again where would you place these? Would they be in apartments? Would they have their own
there's a lot of ideas on that
spawning device? Would you press a button and they kind of appear? Yeah, all, I mean, ideas flying around that one. But yeah,
I'm sort of a little bit interested in the idea of giving agents apartments and homes, and letting them say that when you create an agent, you have to put them in a home, have to attach them to a home. But I don't know. I mean, that could be a step too far. Ollie definitely gave me a sideways look when I said that.
See, that would then reignite the calls for things like a little bathroom and kitchen extension. You could have a little kind of housewife one sitting there doing the washing up.
Or you can have a drunk husband one over the bog after a weekend out.
Yeah, the teenager just sitting on the sofa.
Yeah. But yeah, the idea of actually being able to sort of have AI agents that sit in the world, and that's one of the things. I'm gonna basically talk a little bit about where we some of the feedback that we got on the questionnaire that we posted. So, I'm back on my seat. I'm gonna have to lie it back because the seat is broken. But yeah, what we've got is a whole load of different things you guys were talking about. So, a non-dynamic agents. So in the questionnaire, I think they came out as, this is too uncomfortable. I have to, excuse me, I can feel like I'm falling asleep. Then lean forward and over instead. So we're going to look at ways to get AI agents in that are not triggered by paperclips. So the way that may work, again, we're just going to talk a little bit about this without any promises, is that when you've triggered an AI agent, we can store that script. So you could theoretically trigger a whole bunch of agents to talk about your storefront and then store those so that another time when a user wants to access something that doesn't have access to paperclip, they can access rather than the new generated script by the AI agent on the fly, which at the moment is costly. Instead, pull up one of the previously generated ones that is still valid and still useful, and trigger that and experience that through the history of the AI agents chats.
Yeah, and the value in that is great because, you know, I've certainly been there where I've been playing around with the scripts or just randomly listening to people and they say the perfect script. You're like, yes, that they nailed it. They got just the right tone, just the right information, and then it's gone. And you can't get it back again. You're like, no, they just never quite got it on you know, just that.
Nailed it.
Yeah, haven't quite nailed it again. So the ability to then have those little perfect gems that you can access again would be a very interesting prospect.
And the idea there is that those could obviously be accessed inside the storefront, potentially at the desk. You know, you go up to the desk and there's a counter and a bell, you hit the bell. Agent spawns, recites one of the pre-scripted and Wendy's grumpy agent appears. What are you doing here? Go away. Don't want you in the store. Yeah, fuck off.
Closed. Get out my pub.
Out my pub. I think that's going to be one of the other pubs in Infiniverse. But yes, that sort of thing, or potentially even outside the storefront, welcoming people in. So that at the storefront, we've been looking at the idea of having sort of like a doorbell or something outside, allows you to trigger an agent on the outside, let them appear, let them tell you a little bit about the storefront before you go in, so that you can entice people in. Another one would be to have them in Infiniverse to talk to new users and handhold them and onboard them. So all of those things are ways that we're looking at how to remove the burden and the cost of the generation prices each time and increase the value of the agents through something like that. So I'm quite excited about that one. The other one is to be able to have the AI agents interacting in the real world. So that's the one we're talking about, actually walking around, going the trips. being there. And if they had an apartment, then obviously they could have a district they live in, and then the district, they could be popping in and out and walking around that district and available in that district. So the plot owner could, for example, have AI agents, or
I'm not sure
apartment
my
owners could
caveat
have.
sign's big enough for that one. I'm just going to leave it on screen for a few minutes there. I need it extra big. Really not a promise. It's really just an idea.
But that sort of thing excites me, because that would give the world some more life and interest and excitement and agility of what's going on, what's happening. Oh, somebody else has moved in there, AI agent has appeared, now that person is in the area. Those sorts of things are things I would like to try and get to. Again, like Wendy says, Ollie will probably come and hit me on the head with a beer bottle or something like that. Adding memory, so that for those agents who do spawn with paperclips, that they are dynamic, but they have a dynamic memory of you and where you've been, and if they've interacted with you before, they welcome you back to the store, things like that. They know who you are. At the moment, they don't know who you are, the person that spawned the agent. They know who the owner of the storefront is. And that makes it, a little bit of a shame, because it'd be cool to be able to talk specifically about the person who spawns them. So then that obviously means more context, so not only a memory, but a context. So for example, if you spawn an AI agent in Infiniverse and you are at, I don't know, the Wind Dragon, which is going to be hatching soon, maybe you should check your reminder, then it would know that it's in the proximity or vicinity of the Wind Dragon and talk to you about the Wind Dragon, or talk to you about the plot at the Wind Dragon and the people that have purchased or storefronts around there. So those are the sorts of things that we're looking at and evaluating whether we can tackle over the coming weeks. My hope is obviously to get all of that in. Ollie's hope is to go on holiday and not care. So we'll see what we get to. But that's the sort of conversations that we're having internally. That's the sort of desire that we'd like to get to, a place where we add value to the crafted AI agents and it's fun gameplay to actually craft and make and find and understand which is the most exciting combination of for example, personality traits and memories and interests to be able to create the agent that represents you personally, or just one that you think is fun because it's very similar to Harry Potter from Hogwarts, something like that. So finding ways to be able to let people craft, nudge, tweak, and adjust agents is big. And then obviously some sort of memory, more context, and making them cheaper and more usable and more accessible to everybody. Was anything else on that side?
No, that covers it a lot. And I think I've been really enjoying the vibe in the app recently. I've got pops on PC, pops on VR, chat to people, met some newbies, met some oldies, somewhere in the middle, somewhere around the edge, and it's feeling good right now. I'm looking forward to the rest of this year.
Exactly. And on that note, bringing more people in by bringing it to other platforms. So obviously, the conversations, again, with the massive caveats, are to try and find which other platforms we can bring it to soonish. And the things on our list include stuff like Steam, Epic Game Store, Windows Store, iOS, and Android. So no promises there, because those are expensive, burdensome tasks. They take a lot of time out of the rest of the delivery of content and features and functionality. But if there is a value to doing that, then that's something that we will try and do as soon as we can. Yeah, and with regards to being in the app, it's been a lot of fun just to be in the app, pulling out paper clips and having some fun testing them, but then have people pop in and sit down and laugh and giggle and watch them with you. And I think, that's been cool. I've had some scenarios, but we did add that. I don't know whether you know. I asked people on Discord, if you have a storefront and you have AI agents in them and you'd like me to promote them, then I did add those storefronts and those AI agents to the Infiniverse triggered AI agents, so that I think it's Haley and Jennifer and Clyde, do when they spawn, talk about the storefronts that you guys have sent us, and that is really damn cool. I think I had 2 instances when I was testing where people that had put in storefronts were there when theirs was triggered, and the glee and the joy of having an AI agent appear in Infiniverse and talk to other people about their storefront, that was very powerful, very important, I think, for us to see, how can we take that further? What could we do? Does that drive people to storefronts? Maybe the ability, again, pie in the sky, for them to be able to pull out bubbles and talk about location with a destination bubble or something of that nature, or maybe just pull out a beer bottle and drink the beer and then collapse on the floor dead.
Smash it.
I don't know. Yeah. So I think, those are the sorts of areas that we're looking at. If you've got ideas, don't hesitate to share them. We've obviously shared a whole load on Discord already. And if there's anything you want to see from the AI agents, obviously free, cheap, available to everybody is on the list, but sadly, while it's on my list too, isn't currently available to us due to the exorbitant prices of Google and OpenAI. We are looking at alternatives. Again, the problem there is that OpenAI and Google are the absolute most stable companies to be working on AI tech
If the
with.
agents suddenly start speaking Chinese, you know what we've done.
Yes, exactly. No. Yes, I got the Don and Joe show won't suddenly be able to make fun of China.
Yeah, they can't discuss Tiananmen Square anymore.
No, exactly. So I'll have to put one script in there that always talks about Tiananmen Square, and then you'll know if that ever disappears, what's happened. But yes, looking at ways to find, a price decrease, the use of a more affordable AI solution. Obviously, DeepSeek is what we're referencing. DeepSeek is 27 times cheaper to use, but has the sad reality that all of the user data is stolen by China, put into a database, and your credit score is decreased simply because you're in VR. I don't know. So we'll have to see, what the options are, how it works, where we can go from there, and like one of my fears, one of my experiences, 25 years of making apps and games, is we implement some technology that some provider provides and then find later that they go bust. And suddenly our app breaks because some other company went bust. We even had it with Meta. I think right before the launch of Multiverse, we had implemented the Meta avatars, and then they disabled them. They enabled a higher res version that broke the app. So in the last month before launch, we had to make our current bot avatars, which is why we're stuck with those guys. Because Meta literally, without warning, changed everything and broke the app a month before launch. So it's those sorts of things that we've got to be careful of. So while there are options out there, we could obviously, download some software that does is open source, and we could run over our own servers. But just like you've seen issues every now and again where building the terrain in Infiniverse breaks because that's on our own servers, rather than the rest of the app, which is up on the Google servers, we'd find areas like that where things might suddenly collapse and fail. So we just need to be really careful about how it works, where we can get the best combination of price and stability from, and then implement something of that nature. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we went through that rather quickly. I mean, normally we're like going into an hour and a bit and struggling to finish off before the end and having to leave.
Wanting more.
Yeah, that's it. So I think we're going to leave now, finish off, say thank you very much. Remember, check out the newsletter that's just been sent out. Do check out the PC version, give us a shout. Keep your eyes out for updates.
And I know this is going to sound like a really, really dumb thing to say, but I think it's just worth saying it. For the non-PC version, you don't need a headset. Any of your friends, any of your family, they can now get it too. This app, you've been harping on about them for the past 4 years. They can finally see it too. It sounds like they said, of course you don't, but you kind of, because it's still a MetaQuest Link app, it's inherently linked in your head with the headset, with the devices. But it's not. It is no longer in any way needed. Yes, the whole MetaCoin thing, that's on this season, it's not a full feature set, but certainly you get your gran, your friends, anyone you know, all they need to do is download that app. Oh,
Wendy, here is your reminder. Publish.
There we go. Alexa, stop. I'll be pushing the button in just a minute. But yeah, tell everyone, because they don't even need to have, any previous connections with VR. They just need to sign in, get this account, and then they can get their own spaces, they can create their own rooms, they can access the Multiverse Online AI website, decorate them, and do all these amazing things that you guys have been doing. They can now do it too. So, like I say, it's a dumb thing to say, but it's just worth remembering. Yeah.
And for those of you that are adventurous, we've seen people already converted onto the ROG Alley and the Mac. So for those of you that have a bit of tech savvy, know what to do, you can bring Multiverse on the go, and you can put it onto a different type of platform yourself. So while obviously we would like to support Mac from the Mac Store and the Apple Mac Store, and make that by default, the key thing is you don't need to. You can do a lot of these things now. So yeah, we're hoping to see all of you online soon in Multiverse doing your exactly the jab, the PC jab.
Pick it up, just pick it up.
And hopefully it'll have more functionality and potentially better controls and actions soon. So yeah, all the best. Thank you, Wendy, and see you guys in app soon.
Delftcast, plugging you into the future, where verse meets meta, where meta meets verse, where gamers meet devs, where devs meet games. Your direct access to the future right here, right now. Where verse meets meta, where meta meets verse, where gamers meet devs, where devs meet game. Your direct access to the future right here, right now.